The children have every reason to want to reclaim what is theirs. Men have brought nothing but destruction and horror to the world. The White Walkers are the children's tool against humanity, and they have every reason and right to want mankind gone. I just want to say, this was not my favorite episode, but in so many ways it was my favorite episode ever. I can't remember the last time I got this emotional over something that I saw on television. I mean, it was crazy. And if you guys have been watching this channel and paying attention at all, you know that the focus of this review almost entirely is going to be Bran and the Children of the Forest and the White Walkers. That's what I'm going to talk about for almost this entire review. I might talk about some of the other scenes, but don't count on it. Like, I don't even know. This review is going to be kind of off the cuffs compared to my other one. So just stick with me because this is big. This is important for me. So if you've been watching me, then you guys know that I theorized for a while now that the others were born out of the Children of the Forest. I theorized that the Children of the Forest created the others as a weapon against humanity. And in my theory, I actually thought that the Children of the Forest might have branched off and became the others themselves, but it looks like in the show, we're seeing that they transform men into the others and use the others to fight humanity. Now, the problem is that it got out of hand. That's why the children at the end of the long night helped the first men defeat the others, even though they waited till the very end to help. All right, they waited until mankind was at its most desperate and then said, yeah, we'll help, and then they defeated the others. I'm really surprised and honestly a little bit proud that my theory actually came so close to what actually happened. Seeing the creation of the first White Walker was great. One thing though, I know that the Children of the Forest lived really long lives, but this would have had to happen like 8,000 years ago, and Leaf wouldn't have been there. She would have been dead by the time now. I mean, they don't live for that long. I mean, I'm pretty sure they lived for hundreds of years, but not thousands, you know. Leaf would have been dead by this point. But I get they changed stuff for the TV show for simplicity and other reasons. I don't care, that doesn't matter. But, okay, let me just talk about the scene from beginning to end. The first scene is Bran and the Red Crow, they go back and they see the creation of the first White Walker. And it is the children, and there's all this black stone around. And you know, I've made a video about this mysterious black stone that appears all over Westeros and Essos, all over the world. It's all over the place. Look at my video, The Two Walls, The Mystery of the Five Forts, as I talk about the mysterious, strange black stone that inexplicably shows up all over Westeros in that video. I don't know if this is that black stone, but if it is, it could be. I don't know. So Bran sees Leaf and the other children kill the man and turn him into a White Walker, basically. And he's like, he wakes up and he's like, oh my God, it was you. You created the White Walkers. Why did you do that? And she says, because we were at war, we had to protect ourselves. And Bran is like, from who? And she's like, from you, you fucking idiots, from men, from mankind. All the pieces were there. We just had to put them together. Now, I don't know if this is actually the way it's going to turn out in the books, because there seem to be a few discrepancies. First of all, Leaf would not have been there. And secondly, it looks like Leaf says the reason they created the others was that they were at war. We know from the book canon that the others didn't come until after the pact had already been settled for like 2,000 years. Like the others showed up at a time of peace, you know? The first men had inhabited all of Westeros, and the children were kind of pushed off into the deep woods. So my ideas was that the children watched Westeros through the eyes of the werewood trees for those 2,000 years during the peace and the Age of Heroes, and they got bitter and they got jealous at all the things that mankind was doing. And this is our land, so they got pissed and they created the White Walkers. But it looks like in the show it's a little different. They're way more sympathetic in the show. It's like we were at war and it was just to save our own skins. But really, in the books, it would have been at a time of peace that they created the others. So later in the episode, we get a scene where Bran is being an idiot. He chooses to walk into the werewood tree, and he sees again the same spot where the children created the others. But this time, he sees all the whites, and they're just sitting there. And he walks up and he sees the Night's King, and the Night's King sees him, and he touches him, and it's that he marks him. Now, this is completely out of left field for me. I don't know what's going on. This is not even kind of from the books. I have no idea. This is completely off the rails for me. So apparently this mark broke the spell on the cave, so the White Walkers can now enter the cave, and so they're coming, and they get there quick too, because you got to realize where Bloodraven is. He's in the heart of the haunted forest. Like I guess the land of winter, the land of always winter, isn't too far off, which makes you kind of wonder, why are they so close? I mean, what, shouldn't they be further away? I mean, why are they so close where they can get there so quickly? So Bloodraven takes Bran back into the past, and while Mira and Hodor are getting ready to go, that's when the White Walkers show up, and the fucking bloodbath happens. This was the hardest scene for me to watch, like, in a very long time, because I gotta tell you, I did not enjoy seeing Summer get eaten by White Walkers, and I did not enjoy, and it wasn't even eaten, it was just stabbed to death. And I certainly did not enjoy seeing Hodor get stabbed to death by White Walkers. But honestly, the Hodor thing, if that's not something that George R. R. Martin wrote, then I don't even know what to say, because that was some trippy crap. But let's not even skip ahead to that. Let's get to what happened in between all that. So the White Walkers are at the cave. The children of the forest start throwing their little fireball things. I don't know what those are. I don't think they're from the books. And the White Walkers get into the cave anyways, and they start slaughtering the children. Bran, Mira, and Hodor and Leaf, they're running down this tunnel, and the Night King, who they finally referred to by name in the show, it seems like they're rushing a lot of stuff. They're not explaining anything in the show. But I'll get to that at the end when I get to my complaints about the episode. But anyways, this scene was really cool, I thought, because I loved the freaking awesome, almost kind of Voldemort-ish effect that happened when the Three-Eyed Crow when he died in the past. They gave him like a totally cool, awesome fantasy death. I loved it, how he kind of turned into, like, it almost looked like crows, and he kind of just faded into ash, and it was so cool when the Night King killed him. That was awesome. So they're running down the cave, and Leaf throws her fire. She sacrifices herself for nothing. Like, for literally nothing, because it didn't even work. It didn't even buy time, as far as I can tell. Well, it bought a little bit of time. I guess she bought them a little bit of time, but for the most part, like, it accomplished nothing. She just died, and then they still got through. And then the scene where Hodor... Oh my god. I don't really honestly know if I truly understand exactly how this happened. Maybe it will be explained more later. Maybe in the books we'll get a better explanation for how it happened, but Bran is in the past while all this is happening, and he's seeing Hodor. And he wargs into Hodor in the future from the past. And for some reason, this has an effect on the past Hodor. And as Mira is screaming, "Hold the door," as Hodor is dying and being attacked by the Whites, it's like it also affects the past one, so he goes into like a kind of seizure, and it goes from hold the door, hold the door, hold the door, to Hodor. And come on, if George R. R. Martin did come up with this, it's like, you're a genius, man. You had this guy saying Hodor throughout the entire freaking book series, man. You are so freaking... How do you do this? How do you tell a story like this? This is like and people bitch at George R. R. Martin for taking forever to write these novels. What, do you think you could tell this story in a shorter amount of time? I don't think so. Not with this amount of detail and foreshadowing. This is great. This is masterwork. You know what I'm saying? So Hodor dies, and it was so damn sad. It was just a really, really sad scene. It's very hard to watch. Hodor is a character that's been such a lovable character since the first season. I mean, we all love Hodor. Like, of all the other characters that are, assholes, Hodor is the only character that's just completely innocent. And now he's dead, and it's very sad. But, that's the Song of Ice and Fire. That's the way it works. It's like Jack and Hagar said in the episode as well. Are the good-hearted spared from death? No, everybody dies. Okay, if I have to talk about what I did not like, it has to be that none of it makes a lot of sense to me. It all seems a little bit pointless unless I'm missing something. I always expected in the books that more was going to be revealed, but really nothing was revealed except for what I already expected. Maybe that's because I already expected it to be the children that created the others. But other than that, what exactly does Bran learn? Does he learn that he can affect the past? Is that what he learned? Is that what he needed to learn? I mean, I know the Three-Eyed Crow said he wasn't ready, but it seems like he's really not ready. Where are they going to go? Like, the Three-Eyed Crow is talking about Bran taking his place. What is your purpose? What are you doing? I don't even understand what you're doing. Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand. How is Bran going to help defeat the others is what I'm trying to figure out. And how is he going to get the information and the knowledge to learn how to defeat the others? I mean, I don't get it. I mean, but that's not anything really wrong with the episode. That's just me wanting more, basically. I want more information. It seems a little rushed. It seems like they rushed him out of that cave a little quickly. I expected him to be there for a little bit longer because he is there for a little bit longer in the books, and a lot more, kind of creepy shit happens in the books that I was not looking forward to because I already know they've changed stuff that's leading up to it. Just so much. It's completely reworked. Like, honestly, if you guys don't read the books, please, I'm not like book readers. When they say the books are better, it's not just to be like, oh, we're better because we've read the books. It's because the books, they're everything in this story. It's basically similar to what is going on in the books, but the book story is completely reworked. It's more characters, more info, more everything. It's just better. It's just the world is richer, and I get why they can't portray that in a TV show. They have a time limit, and I get it, but it just seems a little rushed. All right. The children of the forest, they're in the books, there's like 60 of them in the cave, all right? There looks like there's only like 6 in the TV show, and they're all dead now. So that's completely the end of the children of the forest, because the only ones that existed in the books were in the cave, or so we were told by Leaf. So who's going to guide Bran? Who's going to help Bran? I mean, are they going to bring in Cold Hands? But then again, who's controlling Cold Hands, and what's his deal? Like, it seems like the source of the power and everything was that cave and the three-eyed crow and the children. Now they're all dead, like, really quickly. I mean, I don't know. I'm just really, really, really curious because I don't know. I really, really don't know. I have no clue. Because, as you guys know, my theory was that Bran was going to stay in the tree. But obviously that got screwed up because he obviously allowed the Night's King to see where he was, and he came to the tree. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. So let's move on to some of the scenes that I'm a little bit less hyped about than the Bran stuff, and that's not because it's not great. It's just because I've been wanting to know more about Bran's story for like fucking 5 years, and that's why I'm hyped about it. So Kingsmoot. Okay, the Kingsmoot is really cool in the books. And it's definitely on a smaller scale in the show, and that is to be expected. In the books, it is a little different. There's a certain artifact that is involved called the Dragon Binder. When Euron and Theon is not there in the books, by the way. It's just Asha, and then there are some bunch of other people. But the main players are Asha Greyjoy. I mean, Yara in the show. I forget her name's Yara in the show. Yara Greyjoy and Euron Greyjoy, the Crow's Eye. And in the books, he actually comes there with this big dragon horn, and he says, the mother of, like, it's a magical horn from Valyria that you can bind dragons to. It basically lets you control dragons. But in the show, it's basically, I'm just going to go over there and I'm going to offer her all my ships, and then she's going to want to get with me, which is a totally great idea. I mean, I'm down for it. In the books, it is more than a little different in the books. There are a couple of the characters that are involved, but whatever. Asha loses, and Euron is king, and they drown him. And that scene was epic. I loved the music. I loved the cool scene where Asha and Theon are getting all their ships and like taking off. That was awesome. Great scene. I really liked it. It's different from the books, but still a great scene, and I enjoyed watching it. I am curious to see where exactly Yara / Asha and Theon are going. I don't actually remember. Oh, I do remember what happens to Yara and Theon in the books, but it's actually really different, honestly. Where they end up is crazy because the stories are so switched around now that it would be impossible for her now in the show and Theon to end up where they are in the books at this point, because the storylines are switched up. And that's the thing. People say we're done with the books. We're not. Like, in every episode that they've shown so far, it's been stuff from the books that hasn't been in the TV show yet. So the book story is not done at all. Like, there's more stuff after the Kingsmoot that still needs to happen. And then there's stuff that can't happen because it's already happened, but at the same time, it's not happened. And you won't even get what I'm saying unless you've read the books. So I can't even explain it. Move on. The Dany scene, I really didn't know how to feel. I felt like, what was the line she said? I command you to go find the cure. That was a little bit cringe. And that's not because of Emilia Clarke. I mean, I think she's a good actress. I think that's just writing. George R. R. Martin wouldn't write that. I mean, I command you to save yourself or heal yourself or find the cure, whatever she said. That's a little cringe. But she finds out Jorah has grayscale. She sends him off. and she's marching back to Marine, I guess, with her gigantic Khalasar now. And yeah, we'll see what happens in the next few episodes with Danny, because I don't know. I don't know. It could go a lot of places. It could go a lot of places. So back in Bravos, Arya is still trying to become no one, and the wave still says, "You're Arya Stark. You're not no one." Which is weird because I thought she'd already proven that she was no one because she drank the poison and lived, but maybe, I don't know. The House of the Black and White, they're up to some stuff. Like, there's a reason in A Clash of Kings, this is completely off the cuff, but book spoiler. There's a reason in A Clash of Kings that in the House of the Undying, when Daenerys Targaryen sees the Undying ones in their prime, there is a black and white door. That's exactly like the one in the House of Black and White. So there's something about these House of Black and White people that's, you can't trust them, I don't think. Maybe you can, I don't know. They seem like they're up to no good, if you ask me. But anyways, Jaqen H'ghar tells Arya the story of how the servants of the many-faced god came to be. And now this is from the book. This is another thing that's from the book that's just now being put into the show. Basically about how the city of Bravos was founded by former slaves of the Valyrian Empire, and how the gift of death was given for the first time in the mines in Valyria. Basically, the idea is that their lives were so bad as Valyrian slaves in those mines that death was better. So Arya gets an assignment to kill an actress. I don't know if she's gonna do it or not. I mean, I could totally see Arya leaving the House of Black and White, picking up Needle, and, going home. I could totally see that happening, but I don't know. I don't really feel like Arya's gonna be no one. I feel like the waif is right, but we will see in probably the next episode. So Tyrion and Varys encounter Kinvara, the Red Priestess of Volantis, and she totally captures that Melisandre second season, like, mysterious confidence, and Varys hates magic, obviously. And, Kinvara does, like, an awesome job at intimidating him and making him back down. She, like, looks at him in the eyes and she says, "When you were cut, do you remember the voice that called out for you?" And he's kind of looking at her like, oh my god, how does she know this? So I am very interested in seeing this character. She seems to support Daenerys. And, that makes me think that, oh my god, every time one of these Red Priestesses supports somebody, it makes me think that, like, what if Jon and Dany just die? Like, what if that happens? What if the others, who, look at what just happened with Bran. The others are winning so far. I mean, Dany has her army, but I don't even know. But the fact that this Red Priestess is so sure that Dany is the princess that was promised makes me think that she's probably not. The same thing with the fact that Melisandre is so sure that Jon is, makes me think that she's probably not. I agree with Varys for the most part. Just because you have magic doesn't mean that your religion is real. Like, I believe in this world that magic is just there. And I watched the video by this guy named James Johnson, and he's awesome. I don't remember the name of the video. I'll try to link it in the description. But he says a really cool thing, that the magic in their world is just a force like gravity. It just exists. And they built these religions to explain the phenomena. Just like I don't know what you believe, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Just like we built religions in our world, but they have magic, so it's that extra step that magic is actually real, so they designed religions around them. I don't think that there really are any gods in the A Song of Ice and Fire universe. That's just my opinion. So now Kinvara is letting all the Red Priests know that Dany is the chosen one. They're going to support her, so it's going to be interesting to see what this develops into. So Dany has all these Dothraki that pretty much view her as a god, and now they've got the Red Priest behind her, and they think she's the prince that was promised and all this stuff. And all this stuff building makes me think that she's probably not. But at the same time, maybe she is, because I think that it has nothing to do with these stupid prophecies. It's about somebody stepping up and defending the realms of men. No matter who you are, at the end of the day, it can't just be Dany and Jon that save the world from the White Walkers. It has to be the people that step up and save themselves. That's what I think. That's what I think needs to happen. Because at the end of the Song of Ice and Fire, the world is going to be changed. I don't think there's going to be this same system of kings and queens and you're only ruling because your dad ruled before you. That doesn't make sense. And that's the point. Change has to happen. This was a good episode. This episode was a solid 8 for me. I really enjoyed the Bran scenes. The cinematics in those scenes were just amazing. Just absolutely phenomenal. Like when you see the White Walker army and you see the Night's King approach the cave, it just looks so awesome. When he takes his axe and he hits the ground, oh my god, it's so cool. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen in Game of Thrones. Like, I love fantasy battles. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I've always wanted to see because it's fantasy. I love it. That's why I watch this show. I get it that the show got popular because people like the boobs and the twins fucking each other and all that shit. But I always read these books because they were fantasy books. That's why I picked them up, because someone handed it to me and said, hey, this is a cool fantasy series, read it. And this is what I've always wanted to see. I've always wanted to see one race of freaking fantasy creatures throw fireballs at another race and then they do all this magic shit. It was awesome. I loved seeing it. Although Leaf's death was kind of cliche and stupid. Honestly, I wish they would have killed Leaf in a better way. It was totally corny. And it was very sad. The whole scene was just really sad. It was bleak. And it's like, where do we go from here? But I guess we will see where we go from here in the future episodes. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more ideas, advice, and fire.